Feeling worried about the future? Relax, watch the whole video and learn how to make sure you've got $2 million for yourself. Hey there, Luxo lovers! Today we're talking about how to retire with $2 million by the time you hit 65. But hang on, before we start, we just want to say thanks for sticking with us. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up, drop your thoughts in the comments, and pass it on to your buddies. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to Luxo-Life and hit that bell so you'll know what's coming next. Now let's get started. For a lot of folks who save up, having $2 million for retirement feels like being way ahead in the money game compared to most people. But here's the thing. If you don't handle that $2 million the right way, you might run out of money when you're all chillin' in your retirement years. And guess what? This can happen more easily than you'd think, cause retirees could be living it up for like 20 or 30 years after they stop working. And let's not forget, when your job's out of the picture, your income tap gets turned off. Jill Fopiano, the big boss at O'Brien Wealth Partners in Massachusetts, says, since your money flow takes a hit or might even disappear for a while, when you retire, you gotta figure out how to turn your savings into a money flow you can live on. This money flow, plus whatever you're getting from Social Security or a pension, needs to cover the bills so you can live the life you're aiming for. So, what's the smart move to set up different ways money comes in when you've got $2 million saved up for retirement around the usual 65-year-old retirement time? You know how when people stop working, they usually stop working forever? Well, here's a surprise. Even after retirement, you can still do some work if you want. Yeah, I get it. It might sound a bit odd, but let me explain. If you're getting money from things like Social Security or a pension, you could earn some extra cash by doing small jobs here and there. It's like adding more toppings to your favorite ice cream. It makes things even better. And hey, it gives you something interesting to do. Imagine this, you're in retirement mode, but you're also doing a bit of work on the side. It's kinda like having your cake and eating it too. You get to relax during retirement, but you're not saying goodbye to your money goals or the things that make you happy. Whether it's spending a few hours each week, trying out freelance projects, or sharing your knowledge through consulting, these gigs after retirement can give you more money for treats and keep you excited about each day. So it's all about finding a balance. You enjoy your retirement while also making sure your money is comfortable and your mood is upbeat. Now let's dive into the next point, sticking to the 4% rule. If you're getting around 7% in yearly returns over time and you're only taking out 4% each year, here's what's happening. You're letting 3% of that growth go back into your investment pot. Here's the breakdown in simpler terms. Say your money grows around 7% every year. If you're only taking out 4% each year for your expenses, it means you've still got 3% of growth left. Instead of spending that 3%, you're putting it back into your investment mix. It's like planting a seed that can grow even more money over time. Think of it this way, you're not using up all that goodness that your investments are making. By sticking with a 4% rule, you're letting part of that growth stay in your investment pot, which can help your money grow more in the long run. It's like giving your money a chance to make more money for you. Alright, let's talk about the next big thing, building a retirement budget. This is like creating a financial roadmap for your retirement journey. It's about figuring out how much money you'll need to cover all the things you want and need to do during your golden years. Think of it like planning out your spending so you can make the most of your retirement without any financial worries. Here's the deal in a bit more detail. Your retirement budget is like a game plan. You're listing down all the stuff you'll be spending money on, from everyday expenses like groceries and bills to special treats like vacations or hobbies. By doing this, you're getting a clear picture of where your money will go. And trust me, having this clear picture helps you avoid any money surprises down the road. Imagine this, You've got a pot of money for your retirement and you want it to last as long as possible while still enjoying your life. That's where your budget comes in. It's like your personal money manager, guiding you on how much you can spend each month while keeping things under control. So when you stick to your budget, you're basically making sure you're using your money wisely and having the best retirement possible. Now let's talk about delaying to get your Social Security. Here's the deal. Figuring out when to start getting your Social Security money is a big deal for those getting close to retiring. And there's a good reason for that. If you start too early, you might end up with less money. But if you wait to get more money, there's a chance you might not be around to enjoy it for as long. Imagine this. You can start getting your Social Security cash at 62 or wait until you're 70. Statistically, if you live an average amount of time, you'd get about the same total money whether you start at 62, 70, or anywhere in between. But here's the twist. None of us have a crystal ball to know when we'll pass away. That's what makes this decision tricky. Here's what you need to know. If you start early, you might get less money every month, but you'll start sooner. If you wait, you could get more money every month, but you'll have to wait longer to start. Now let's look at why some people start early. For some, it's because they need the money. Others think that when they retire, it's time to get Social Security, but that might not be the best move. If you can cover your retirement expenses from your savings for a couple of years, it could make sense to wait and get a bigger monthly payment for life, even if you retire from work earlier. Here are some good points to remember. Waiting means you'll get more money over your lifetime. This one's pretty clear. Most people think waiting just means a bigger starting amount, but the real deal is that waiting leads to much more money in your 80s and 90s too. Your Social Security payment goes up each year you wait, up to 8% every year if you wait past your full retirement age. Find another investment with an 8% guaranteed yearly return these days and you're basically a time traveler. If your retirement savings aren't invested as aggressively as before, waiting could be a smarter move while your Social Security grows. You can change your mind at any time. A lot of people don't realize that waiting isn't a one-time choice. Once you're eligible, you can start getting Social Security at any time. So it's not a permanent decision, you've got more flexibility. And here's something neat. After your full retirement age, you can even get up to 6 months worth of past benefits in one go. This can help if you're worried about waiting too long and then needing money quickly due to health stuff or other surprises. So yeah, when it comes to Social Security, it's all about weighing your options and making the right call for your situation. Just remember, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. It's about finding what works best for your retirement journey. Now, the next thing on our list, making the most of your IRA. Figuring out where to keep your $2 million retirement savings is a big deal. For this, most people use something called a pre-tax IRA, which is really beneficial if you're managing large sums of money for retirement. Jeremy Finger, a financial expert, offers the following advice. People's taxable income decreases as they get older. And you know what? The tax bracket they are in also does. Now is the ideal moment to begin withdrawing funds from your IRA accounts for your retirement income, particularly if you're also holding out for your annual Social Security benefit to receive that welcome 8% raise in income. Finger claims that using this combined method benefits retirees in 3 ways. Because your tax bracket is often lower, you pay less in taxes on the money in your IRA. When you reach 73, you simplify your subsequent minimum necessary withdrawals. You might avoid going into a higher tax rate by doing this. You maximize a government pension that never runs out and increases in line with inflation. Now here's something smart fingers suggest. Instead of just following the 4% rule, use guardrails. Think of these like safety barriers for your spending on things that aren't essentials. When things are going well, you can spend a bit more. And when times are a bit tight, you can cut back a bit. It's like treating yourself to a longer vacation when things are good or a shorter one when things are a bit tight. So there you have it, a way to handle your IRA and retirement savings that can help you make the most of your money while enjoying the journey ahead. Our second to the last is taking taxes into account. There are two major tax considerations to make while you're getting ready to retire. Let me break down each one for you. First, there's something called different types of investment accounts. You know those accounts where you stash your money? Well, some get taxed differently than others. Ronnie Israelov, who knows his stuff about money, says that how much you can spend with your $2 million depends a lot on the kind of accounts your money is in. It's like how you spend your allowance depends on whether it's saved up cash or money you're allowed to spend right away. Now let's talk about the second thing, your tax profile. This is all about where you live or plan to live when you retire. The taxes you owe can really affect how much money you actually have to enjoy during retirement. It's like knowing how much of your snack you'll have left after you pay your friend for a bite. For instance, when you take money out of most retirement accounts, you usually pay regular income taxes. But if you take money from regular investment accounts, you might pay lower taxes called capital gains taxes. Here's the bottom line. If you have a lot of money in retirement accounts, you need to think about the taxes. They can take a big chunk of what you thought you had to spend. So when planning for retirement, don't forget about these taxes. They're like an extra bill you need to pay, and ignoring them can mean you're left with less to enjoy during your retirement years. Now let's discuss the final point, focusing on asset allocation. Well, what's the big deal here? Allocating your assets wisely is similar to distributing your investments. Assume you own a variety of investments, like gold, bonds, stocks, and more. You allocate or split your money across these various kinds rather than investing it all just one of these. It's similar to having a variety of snacks as opposed to a single kind of sweet. So why do people do this? Well, the idea is to make the most out of your investments while keeping things safe. See, different investments act differently when the market changes. By having a mix, you can reduce the ups and downs in your overall investment value. It's like having a balanced diet to stay healthy. Here's why it matters: getting the best returns. Each type of investment can make different amounts of money and react in different ways to the market. By spreading your money across them, you can aim for better overall returns. Lowering risks. All investments have risks, but some are riskier than others. When you spread your money, you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. This means if one type doesn't do well, it won't hurt your whole portfolio. Matching time and risk. Your goals and how much risk you're okay with taking on really influence where you put your money. Your investment mix should fit both short-term needs like buying a car soon and long-term needs like retirement. Paying less in taxes. Different investments have different tax rules. By spreading out your money, you can actually end up paying less in taxes. Think of asset allocation like planning a balanced meal. You're picking different foods to make sure you're getting all the nutrients you need. Similarly, you're picking different investments to make sure your money is growing and staying safe. Remember, the best mix for you might not be the same for someone else, so it's all about finding what works best for your goals and comfort level. And that's a wrap for today's video, Luxo lovers. We hope you got something useful from what we shared. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up, and if you have any thoughts, share them in the comments section. If you want to stay in the loop and catch all our updates, make sure to subscribe to Luxo-Life and hit that notification bell. This way you won't miss a thing. Until next time,